Well, hello, and I'm back. We're back. So thank you for sticking with Captain's Rizon All Tower Media. On behalf of Solaris, and Derek, which I will continue to refer to as Kato, because that's kind of our handles, if you will, throwing back to the old CB days. Just want to give you a little bit of an update. Pardon me if I keep looking down. There's quite a few notes that I want to hit to kind of get you up to speed where we're at. We are coming back. Told you we hadn't left permanently. We just need to take a quick break, go back to the drawing board. We wanted to make a better game for you guys. The ideas were there, but we felt that some of the mechanics weren't quite there, and we wanted to retool a few things. Still a steampunk game. We're looking at a sandbox world, very large, open, a lot of side quests. There will be a main storyline. We're kind of still toying the idea if we even want to build quests around the main storyline, but mainly what you're going to be looking at is a single player sandbox game, modifications to your ship, maybe to your weapons, as far as maybe retooling it, possibly going to like an engineer and having it modified or something to that respect. Mainly the modifications will be solely to your airship, obviously, because you'll want to upgrade it and make it better, or your boat, possibly even a land vehicle. But right now we're focusing on land, air, and sea as your different methods of travel, and for combat as well. You're going to see dungeon environments as well, both your classic style dungeons and steampunk. It's going to be kind of a steampunk mixed with fantasy world. Rizon is a very vast world that only us, even in 10 years, have only partially developed a small part of the continent of two worlds, because Rizon, if you haven't been with us long, is actually two planets that have collided and formed. Almost looks like a molecule starting to split. That's just a quick, there's a vast history behind that. And that's to also go to the note that this world in this game will constantly be evolving, and will constantly be adding to it. Basically, in this game, if you can see it somewhere, you can go to it and you can explore it. You may not be able to physically walk there, but you can take your airship and get up there, which means there might be remote locations on top of mountains, hidden valleys that you're going to have to get to with different methods of travel. Lots of side quests. We want to make this lots of loot, lots of dungeoning, lots of grinding, lots of story, lots of lore, even if it's side quests and not to the main aspect of the typical story that you're in. But you're going to get a lot of Rizon lore. We're going to try to mesh together a lot of aspects that people love. Grinding, farming, looting, killing, story, questing. There's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. And because it's an open sandbox style world, you can tackle all or portions of every one of those. Now, that is the main focus of the game. We do have goals that we would like to eventually get to, that they're going to be reach goals that if we blow our goal out of the water when we hit Kickstarter, then we might start looking at these. Some of these things might be more modifications, like I said, to your weapons, to more aspects of the game. Multiplayer, I want to address this. We originally were talking multiplayer. Now we're kind of shying away from that, even from a LAN aspect. Just because it's going to cost us more than we first deemed possible. Now, that's not to say if we hit a reach goal and you guys really want multiplayer, then you really need to donate. Because we want to do it. It's something we eventually want to add, but we got to have the money for it. Same with MMO. Again, eventually we'd like to see that as a possibility, but we've got to reach that goal. So that's going to be well beyond the goal that we set, because our initial focus for this game is a single player, large world, lots of questing. You're never going to run out of things to do, basically, in the end. Eventually, in the initial release, obviously, it's going to be a little smaller, and we're going to constantly be modifying and patching it as we go along. Think, like, say, Minecraft. Each patch expands what you can do, what is in the world, more dungeons, stuff like that. So, going back to what's going to be in the game, We want to look at things like you know, you are going to be able to get on your airship, and you are going to be able to dungeon on the ground and fight. You're going to be able to pick up crew members. These crew members are going to modify how you play the game. They will either modify what they do with you in a dungeon, or they may modify your ship and how it functions, travels. You may pick up like an engineer, or you may pick up a gunner, or you may pick up a cartographer, or, you know, we're still tweaking out the actual aspects of what crew members. These are just examples, but they're going to help modify your gameplay through. They'll be kind of like henchmen or followers, but there'll be more stat bonuses type modifications. We hope to have an alpha up for you about the same time Kickstarter launches, which we're hoping by the end of this month, but I would say within the next 2 months for sure. Keep watching the Facebook page for more news. Cato should be posting more information, as he's the one throwing together the alpha for you guys. We definitely want to have something tangible for you in addition to just artwork and things like that. We want you to actually be able to get a feel for what we're looking at and what we're trying to do for you guys. You know, eventually we want to add all kinds of things. We want you to be able to farm, grow your own crops, be able to set up trade routes, you know, bust up trade routes. For example, you're going to be flying somewhere to go finish a quest, and suddenly you're waylaid by sky pirates, and you got to fight them off because they're trying to steal your trade route. Or you may be just, you know, traveling the ocean to go from one port to another, and suddenly a tsunami breaks out, and you've got to avoid massive tidal waves in order to keep your boats afloat. There's going to be a lot of random world events, and also events that are sprung by what you do and where you travel. Reputation style events. So there's going to be a lot of things like that. So we also would like to introduce not just massive quests, but also dailies, maybe repeatables to help you farm out some of those items that you're looking for. So yeah, a little ambitious, but a more tighter focus than we had before. Do we want to reach those greater aspects of the game? Absolutely. But they may come further down the line in later iterations of the game, or if we hit some reach goals on this, then great. Like I said, the Kickstarter should be up soon. Keep checking Facebook for dates on that. Also check out the webpage, which should be on the Facebook page. Basically, you're going to be going to alltowermedia.weebly.com. I should have that up here for you, somewhere here on the screen. But check that out. And if you want to hear more, stay in touch. Share the page. Share the Facebook page. I can't get that enough. We can offer more with the more followers that we have. So the more followers we get, the more we can give you. So share this. Even if you just get your friends to share it to their friends. If they like gaming, if they like questing, if they like, you know, any aspect of any game, pretty much, we're going to have some portion of that in this. A lot of RPG elements, obviously. If they're not a big fan of RPGs, I'm sure they can find something else in this game that they will like. The modding, everybody loves to be able to customize. You know, it's steampunk, but it's also fantasy. It's going to be something new that you really haven't seen out there yet. So get people to like the Facebook page. That way when we launch Kickstarter, we can get this ball rolling, get this game out to you guys the sooner the better. So it's from Solaris saying, take to the skies.